Northeast Greenland, far inside the Arctic Circle, is cut off from civilization for the greater part of the year. Life for the Eskimo tribes, traveling by dog team and sledge in search of fresh hunting grounds, is stripped of all but the barest necessities. Practically, their whole lives are taken up by two things: getting enough food and keeping warm. And in both these jobs, they give their teeth nearly as much work as they give their hands. Yet, in the Eskimo language, there is no word for toothache. The civilized idea of roughing it with car and caravan instead of dog team and sledge seems, by comparison, the height of luxury. We pride ourselves on turning out a really delicious meal, even if we're on the road, and we certainly don't like overworking our teeth. But oddly enough, because of the soft time we give them, nearly every civilized person suffers from some kind of disease of teeth or gums.
Well, that's only because people don't look after their teeth.
Do you look after yours?
Certainly. You won't find anything wrong with my teeth. Sorry to disappoint you.
They certainly look very good. From the outside.
Well, I've got nothing to hide. Come and have a look if you like.
Yes, it's quite a well cared for mouth. But appearances can be very deceptive, you know. And the dentist can usually see much more in his little mirror than you can see in yours. But even this can't see everything. So let's look at it under the X-ray. Now here is one of your fillings. And here is a little hole that was not visible before. This dark shadow shows that decay has spread right into the heart of the tooth. When did you last go to the dentist?
Oh, about 6 months ago.
6 months? Are you sure?
Well, it might have been longer.
I thought you were being rather smug.
Why don't you concentrate on her for a bit?
Well, I feel I'm rather interrupting your picnic. But if you wouldn't mind... And when did you last see your dentist?
Well, I'm afraid I really haven't been near him for about a year. But he never finds anything wrong with my teeth anyway.
But he'd find a great deal wrong with your gums.
My gums?
I'm afraid you've got pyorrhea. You mustn't think that because you've not had toothache, you've got nothing to worry about. After all, if you examined 100 average men and women, you would find very few among them who could truthfully say, "There's nothing wrong with my mouth." Now, this choir of exactly 100 people has agreed to help us. First, we're going to ask all those with complete or partial dentures to leave the platform. Right? First group, please. Next, those people who need one or more teeth extracting. Second group, please. Now those who need other dental treatment, such as fillings or gum treatment. Third group, please. Leaving exactly 2 people out of 100 with perfect teeth. And that, roughly speaking, is the present state of the nation's teeth, as shown by recent statistics. only 2% of the population have naturally perfect teeth. Yet if you picked up your morning paper and read that fact in headlines, would you take any notice? I doubt it. But supposing you read this, or this, you'd worry then, wouldn't you? Yet the effect of bad teeth on your general health can be just as dangerous as any epidemic disease.
Well, we've got our remedy, haven't we? Have the whole lot out. The whole boiling.
Don't be silly, Shirley. You know your father can't eat apples with his dentures.
It's not so easy, is it? And yet you're advising your family to have their teeth out. And here's another thing. This small daughter of yours looks as if she's going to grow up into a very pretty girl. Supposing she takes your advice. It isn't really such a good idea, is it? Anyway, there's a much simpler remedy. First of all, let's see what we know about teeth. And here is a model which will tell us quite a lot. A tooth is composed firstly of the outer covering, the enamel, which is one of the hardest substances known to nature, and serves as a protection to the delicate body of the tooth. Now we'll look at a section of a single tooth to see how it's made up inside. First is the outer covering of enamel, then an inner layer which is called dentine, and finally the heart of the tooth with its nerves and blood vessels feeding and nourishing the tooth as a whole. The middle layer, the dentine, is made up of millions of hollow tubes. In this diagram, just a few of them have been indicated. The purpose of the dentine is to act as a shock absorber, protecting the heart of the tooth. Let us just take 3 of the tubes and go in still closer. Now we can see that there is at the bottom of each tube a cell from which a hair-like fiber runs up the tube. Continual hard biting grinds away the surface of the tooth, and this stimulates the fiber, which causes a deposit of calcium to be laid down to act as a protective layer over the surface of the soft pulp. In time, with continual hard biting, like the Eskimos do, the tooth would become literally solid. But with our soft, civilized food, we don't bite hard enough for this to happen, and the tubes remain hollow and much more vulnerable to decay. Decay is caused by the sweet, sticky foods which cling to the surface of the teeth. Left on the teeth, these form a film which destroys the enamel. Once through the enamel, the poison spreads rapidly and germs pour down through the hollow tubes, killing the fiber inside. And the guardian cells recede, laying down new deposits behind them. But if the germs get a real hold, it is too late, and they eventually reach the living heart of the tooth. By this time, the tooth has begun to ache, and if it is not attended to very quickly, an abscess will form at the root. The tooth has lost the battle, and you will probably lose your tooth. But if you go to the dentist in time, he can remove the decayed section and rebuild the tooth with a filling. Now, that's why it's important to see your dentist regularly. The bone which surrounds the root of the tooth is protected by the gum. And most people think that the teeth are held solidly in the gum by the roots. In fact, they are slung in position by thousands of very fine fibers attached to the surrounding bone. Every time we bite, our teeth gently move up and down in their fibrous sling. This pressure helps the blood to circulate, nourishing the tooth and keeping the gum healthy. The gum is just like the rest of the skin which covers our bodies, but it is as soft and tender as the skin of a baby. The surface of the skin is covered with millions of germs, which are perfectly harmless as long as they remain on the outside. But once the skin gets broken or scratched, the germs can get in and set up an infection. A baby's skin, being tender, is very easily affected. And the gums of the average civilized mouth are just as soft and easily injured. The areas between the teeth are particularly delicate. A hard piece of toast, for instance, can easily tear them without our noticing it. Once the gum is torn, what happens? The germs live on the torn surface of the gum, and, as on the baby's skin, they set up an infection and create poison. They breed at a terrific rate, and every bite taken pushes literally thousands more through the gap. The poison from the infection spreads down, destroying the tissue, which in this case is the strands holding the tooth in place. If the infection is allowed to go on without being treated, the teeth will literally fall out. But if you are able to recognize the symptoms of gum infection, you can consult your dentist at once and prevent this happening. The first sign is that the gums become inflamed and bleed at the slightest touch. Then the infection gets deeper down between the gum and the tooth, but the gums still bleed immediately a brush touches them. In time, the pocket becomes so deep that the bleeding stops. This is not a sign that the infection is getting better. It means it is getting worse. Finally, the pocket becomes so deep that all the fibers holding the teeth are destroyed and the tooth must fall out. With infected teeth or gums, every bite of food forces germs from the infection into the bloodstream, which carries the poison on to every part of the body. And this may cause very serious illness.
That's a very jolly prospect for me.
And for thousands like you. Unfortunately, people don't realize the importance of hardening the gums to resist injury. Now, this young man in the boat can give us a tip about that. Blisters, because his hands are soft and out of condition. But look at these hands. Constant hard work has made them as tough as leather. No chance of blisters there. Now, remember the Eskimos and all the hard work they give to their teeth? This toughens up their teeth and gums just in the same way as the boatman's hands are toughened with hard work. Now look at the tough, hard things they eat. Every time they bite, they are exercising their teeth and circulating the blood, keeping teeth and gums healthy. The tough food is rubbing against the gums, hardening them against injury. No wonder there is no word in the Eskimo language for toothache. Here is an Eskimo child, 4 years old. His teeth are worn smooth and polished. The gums are hard and healthy, and this is a perfect mouth. And here is another Eskimo child brought up in civilization, eating the kind of food that we eat. Well, look at the difference. The food we civilized people eat is very different from primitive diet. We're fond of mincing meat in case it might be tough and difficult to chew. It's always cooked till it is tender. Even the vegetables are cooked. Well, the result may be appetizing to look at and delicious to eat. But it is not at all good for our teeth.
Well, what do you expect me to do? Live in an igloo and chew boots?
That would be going a bit too far. But seriously, knowing the dangers of a soft diet, one can avoid too many sweet, sticky foods and eat plenty of crisp, cleansing things. And it's very important to finish the meal with something like an apple or celery to clean away any of the sweet, sticky foods that may be clinging to the teeth. But the most important factor in dental health is to use a toothbrush with a good toothpaste night and morning and after every meal where possible. Firstly, to clean away every particle of food that remains in the mouth. The best way to do this is to sweep the brush from gum to tip of tooth. To realize why this is the best method, look at the dirt lodged in the teeth of a comb. Brushing across doesn't shift the dirt, but brushing from top to bottom does. And the biting surfaces must be thoroughly brushed to make sure no particles of food are left in the crevices. Secondly, the brush will give that friction necessary to harden the gums till they're tough like the boatman's hand, and germs will have little or no chance to break in. The sweeping movement not only provides friction, it prevents the gum being pushed away from the teeth, leaving an entry for infection. There is no need to use a very hard brush. In fact, this may tear or scratch the gum. A moderately soft brush is perfectly adequate for cleaning and friction. Seen on the model, this may look complicated, but it's really very simple after a little practice. It takes no longer to clean your teeth this way, and it makes all the difference to the health of your mouth. And don't forget, it's not only important to you to use your brush in the right way. The young ones look to you for an example, too. What you teach them now, they will carry out all their lives. And it's useless to clean your teeth for the night if you're going to eat again. Just look in her mouth. That sticky mess is going to lie there all night, encouraging decay. Once the teeth have been cleaned for the night, they must stay clean. These few simple rules will do more than anything to keep your teeth and gums in perfect condition, and the health of your whole body will benefit.
Will you be wanting us anymore?
Good gracious, have you been here all this time?
Yes, as a matter of fact, we found it very interesting, didn't we?
You were the two people with nothing wrong with your teeth and gums.
Yes.
Let's hope they'll soon be more like you. For good teeth bring good health, and good health brings happiness. And we can't have too much of that, can we? Well, I think that's all. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.